Hi guys. I thought I would do a quick video on preparation for recovery from social anxiety before I start any of the videos on my tips for actually overcoming it, because it does take some preparation time, and for me it took 41 years. So we all take different amounts of time to come to the same conclusion sometimes. So what I wanted to talk about was what to expect, because I think it's anticipation of what you are going to have to experience in order to recover, that it prevents a lot of people, myself included, for a long time from embracing recovery. And I think the biggest problem with having social anxiety is the knowledge that overcoming it will inevitably involve experiencing all the things that you've been trying to avoid, because I think most people with social anxiety don't usually just endure it. They tend to take a path of avoidance, and I know that was very much the case for me for the majority of the time. I did occasionally try and embrace change, and perhaps try exposure therapy by forcing myself out, but the path of avoidance is far easier, because you can almost live in denial of the fact that you have social anxiety disorder by avoiding socializing. So I wanted to talk about that, really, because I know how difficult it was for me, because I wanted, and this goes for a lot of people that I've spoken to with social anxiety, we all want to get better, and we all want to essentially correct the problem so that we can start living our lives again. However, as painful as it is to live in that situation, very few of us are prepared to suffer the consequences of changing ourselves. So we want the outcome of being better without having to endure the process of changing our behaviours. Excuse me, still got a cold. And I think that's the major problem, is the fact, and that's something that you will need to accept as early as possible. The fact that if you want to overcome social anxiety, there is no way of doing it without having to experience a degree of anxiety. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be the same kind of anxiety that you've experienced when you've tried to challenge it before, if you try doing it the way that I've been doing it. So bear in mind the fact that it's very intimidating thinking about the prospect of challenging many of the things that you're afraid of. But it tends, I found it to be quite organic, so that because of the way that I did it incrementally, and I hardly noticed the changes that I was making, because I made them so small they were almost subliminal. So don't be afraid, but there is no way that you can change by staying the same. So if you genuinely want to get better, you cannot do that by avoidance. Do not avoid. You need to embrace. One of the other reasons I think people find it difficult embracing change when it comes to overcoming social anxiety is the fact that they've had excuse me, the fact that they've had experiences before of challenging it themselves and it's gone wrong, and they've ended up having panic attacks, and or negative experiences. But I think in a lot of those cases where you become overwhelmed, the reason that happens is because you are trying to fit yourself into another person's version of socializing. And because we don't go out much, because we're socially anxious, we usually only jump onto opportunities that other people are organising. So they're designed for other people, they're not designed for us. So those experiences that you've had have been negative, more than likely were negative because they weren't your creation. So I would say it's a lot easier to overcome these problems if you are the person who creates your own opportunities. So I'll talk about that in another video, but in terms of my experiences so far with overcoming social anxiety, it's been very easy. So no matter how long you've had this problem, I mean, I had it for 41 years. No matter how long you've had this problem, that doesn't mean it's going to take a long time to go away. You just need to find the starting point. So I shall talk more. Oh, this damn cold. So I should talk more in my other videos. I just wanted to talk to those of you who are sitting on the fence about recovery. If you do want to recover, you will have to make changes. Nobody can recover just by thinking about it. You've actually got to put it into practice. So if you're not willing to put anything into practice and challenge your own beliefs and push your own boundaries, then I would suggest that you don't even bother trying and stay in your comfort zone, because there's no other way out of it other than through it. So if you don't want to experience going through it, then don't even bother. Anyway, so that's all I had to say today. So I hope you all had a nice Christmas, and I shall speak to you soon. Okay, bye bye.